All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being here. For this practice, we are going to work on releasing some tension in the upper back. And for some of that, they're more restorative or restful relaxation positions. And some of it is about moving the spine, that upper back, the thoracic spine, and finding ways to kind of loosen things up with mobility as opposed to stretch, because usually our upper back muscles are overstretched, that kind of forward head, forward shoulder position. So for the practice, some props that you might need: either a blanket that you can form into a long roll. This is going to go under our spine, or you could do this with a foam roller. So I'm going to demonstrate both. If you have yoga blocks, I would grab them. If not, don't worry. You can do without. And this, we do need a strap today. If you don't have a fancy yoga strap, it could be the belt off your bathrobe, the dog leash, an old tie that is not going to be used again or worn again. Yeah, and I'm hoping this is relatively gentle and feel good. But if it doesn't feel good to you, then that's a reason to change it, to modify it, to maybe come into resting position or substitute and do something that you know does work for your body. So we are starting in a position that opens the chest. So it lets our shoulders fall back with a prop and gravity. And the flip side of stretching something is relaxing the opposite of it. So this will also help relax the muscles between the shoulder blades. So if you have a blanket or a towel you want to use for this, and that's what I would use if you know you're tight in your chest and the front of your shoulders, but you would take your kind of from a long rectangle position and roll it up from the long edge. You're putting that on your yoga mat or your practice space. And hopefully it's long enough that you can put your tailbone, all of your spine, and your head on here. And I would suggest having the knees bent and the feet flat. I like this sort of knock knee position with the feet wide so that I feel less tippy, right? It's kind of like the buttresses or legs of a sawhorse here to kind of help me hold position. That might work really well for you. If you want a little bit more opening, you could try this with the foam roller, and you might have a long one that will go kind of the length of the head and torso. If you don't, if you have a short one like this, make sure your upper back and your head are on it. And you could either slide a yoga block or folded blanket under your hips so you don't have this big passive back bend in the lower back. Wherever or whichever prop you're using here, bring your arms out and closer into the hips than the head, and palms facing up. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes, and you don't need to see me. So if it feels comfortable, close your eyes, or keeping a soft focused gaze up towards the ceiling. Begin to focus on your breath, just your attention going to the breath and the sensations of breathing. Feeling of that expansion on inhale and that sort of passive contraction on exhale. Breathing through the nose and start to lengthen out the breath. So it's a slowing down of the breath as opposed to big, deep breaths. And your job here is just to breathe. Perhaps with each exhale, you allow or you imagine the shoulders releasing towards the earth. Perhaps you feel the shoulder blades wrapping around the roll you have underneath you. You could stay here. This is a kind of gentler opening of the chest and shoulders, or you could bring your arms out to the sides in a T, so the arms are like a 90-degree angle out away from you. And the elbows don't have to be straight, so depending on the size of the roll underneath you, you might let them bend so that the forearms and backs of the hands rest on the floor. Coming back into that lengthened breath. Each exhale, allowing the shoulders to release towards the earth. Perhaps wrap around that roll a little bit more. Depending on how you're feeling here, you might stay or go back to that first position, or try bending the elbows a little bit more, sort of cactus shape, allowing the backs of the hands to rest on the floor. If they don't, if the hands are off the floor or this is intense, let the elbows straighten a bit. Take a few more breaths here. Take the next few breaths to set an intention for your practice. And think about the reason that you've shown up today, the reason you have made space in your day to practice. About feeling better, it's about relieving stress or letting go of tension. It's about slowing down, feeling better, being stronger. Whatever your reason for being here, bring it to the front of your mind and breathe with intention. We'll bring the arms in if you've spread them out to the sides. And we're rolling over to the side to come off of that prop. Move it out of the way. And we're coming up to sit in a kind of side saddle position. This does have a Sanskrit name, Vrajvajasana, but it's kind of hard to say and it doesn't mean anything to you, I would imagine. So I think of it as the legs kind of side swept off, and we're going to be leaning away from the legs on the hand. You could certainly be leaning down on the forearm here if the wrist pressure doesn't feel good. The free arm, we're going to do a sort of elbow pull motion. So we pull that elbow up and back, and you're looking in that direction. And then we bring that hand down and kind of place it next to the other hand. We'll do a few of these. So we inhale, pull the elbow back. Exhale, placing the hand down. You could leave it there or maybe stretch that arm a little bit past the other hand. Again, we inhale, pull back. Exhale, reach out. And you can even lean into it. So you get a little maybe lat stretch. Let's do a few more. Your movement as big as feels comfortable to you. One more. Nice. Coming on up, and we'll switch sides. So the feet are off to the other side here. You're leaning away from the legs. Any modifications for that hand pressure? Free arm, we pull that elbow back, looking in that direction. Exhale, hand comes down next to the other hand. You can keep it as simple as that. If you'd like to add that extra stretch through the moving arm, stretch it past the other hand. And you could even come into sometimes what we call this one, or what I call this one, the pinwheel pigeon, briefly. So maybe you're getting a little hip stretch as well. But here we're getting that mid, the upper back, the thoracic spine rotation, shoulder blade moving towards spine, away from the spine. All right, we'll let that one go. And we're coming up to hands and knees. I'm going to use my blanket here to pad my knees. I'm just reconfiguring it. But that's an optional comfort prop. Tabletop, we have knees under hips and the wrist under shoulders. And again, hand placement here, you've got some options. Could be loose fists instead of flat palms, forearms down here on blocks or on the floor. And moving through the spine, we round through the back, tuck the chin and tailbone under, and then move in the other direction, tailbone tips up, chest pulling forward. And we go back and forth with those. So you exhale, round, push the floor away. Inhale, tailbone up, pull the chest forward. And back and forth here a few more times. You could stay right here, this kind of standard cat-cow movement, or do the same thing but up on fingertips. So I'm kind of tinted hands here and I'm doing the same motion. If you have some arthritis in your fingers or base of the thumb arthritis is very common, this may not feel as good to you and you could go back to the other version. But a little bit of elevation here. And you might be able to do the same thing with hands on yoga blocks. Gives you some more movement in that mid and upper back, which might feel welcome. We'll bring that spine back into neutral, into this tabletop position. And we'll bring both knees out to the sides here so they're wider than your hips. We're leaving one hand down and bring the other hand behind the head. So a little more rotation here as we rotate that elbow up towards the ceiling and then rotate the elbow towards the opposite wrist. And the breath as we inhale, elbow up, exhale, elbow toward wrist. Couple more here. Coming out of this, bring that hand down. Might feel good to shake out the other wrist or wag the tail a little bit. We'll do this on the other side, hand behind the head, knees are wide still. Inhale, elbow up, elbow towards opposite wrist. 3 more. Knees are wide so that we isolate that rotation in the mid and upper back as opposed to the low back, and certainly not the sacroiliac joint. Those joints in the lumbar spine and the sacroiliac are not really designed for rotation. So keeping it mid and upper back is actually a little bit healthier. We're lowering that hand back down. And then you can bring your knees back in so they're underneath your hips again. And we're stretching one leg back across to the opposite side, toes tucked under, and look in that direction. Maybe you see the foot. Bring the knee back down and switch sides. Inhale, leg crossing over. Look towards that foot so you open through the side body. Exhale, knee down. And then we're alternating. And if the neck doesn't like that big peak around the shoulder, just look towards the hand and open through the rest of the side body, waist, ribs. Last one here. And bringing that knee back down. So we're coming into a puppy pose with some options here that might involve yoga blocks. And if you don't have yoga blocks, it's fine. You can do without. So puppy pose is hips over the knees, and we're bringing the forearm and forehead down to the floor. There's a little bit of a arching downward of the spine, a little bit of a cow tilt positioning here. And this might feel really good right here through the chest, the upper back, the lower back. This next version requires a little bit more shoulder range of motion. So if you have issues with your shoulders or they're very tight, this part may not work for you, but I'm going to bring my blocks here, my lower body staying in that puppy position, and I'm going to bring my elbows onto the blocks, palms together, and then letting the head and chest come down towards the floor. The hands kind of meander towards behind my head. So if you need to look here and see what's going on, and you could certainly still do this without the blocks. Take a few breaths. If those lats are tight, it might be hard to do this one. One or two more breaths right here. And then to come out, sometimes it's a little awkward. You could push up on your elbows and walk it forward. However, it makes sense for you to come out of that position, moving those blocks off to the side for now. Hands and knees again. I'm tucking my toes, and if you have some stiffness in the knees or big toe joints, you might go easy on this one, but I'm shifting the hips towards the heels so my toes bend, soles of the feet start to open, and shift forward again. So it's exhale to shift back, inhale, shift forward. A few more like this, and you can be, the movement can be as big or as little as feels good to you. And you might be going slow or just kind of feeling out where is my in range, what feels like a good stretch or opening position, especially as you shift towards the end of shifting back. You could stay with this, or you could add this, had a brief down dog, so hips towards the heels, and then you lift those hips, release the heels down for the brief down dog, and then you lower the knees, shift forward again. So basically, I've just added a little, a regular size, but a brief down dog as I shift back. One more. Lower both knees down here. You could untuck the toes, pausing. Maybe down dog works in your body and we'll set up for that here, or go ahead if you're already there. It can be a challenging pose for a lot of people. So puppy pose is basically kneeling down dog. Upper body is in that down dog position, so it might be a good alternative. For your down dog, hands forward of shoulders, fingers spread, hips up and back. Now I'm a little tight in the backs of my legs today, so I'm going to bend my knees, allowing me to prioritize lengthening of the spine over straightening the knees. Take a moment here, maybe pedal the feet, rise up on the toes, release the heels, or shake the head, lift a leg, or perhaps you shift it forward to plank and back to down dog. Decide what would feel good for your body or what your body is requesting here. Perhaps things that allow you to find more length in the spine and openness through the backs of the legs. Eventually settling in that down dog, maybe the hips a little bent, head relaxed. Looking forward, we'll step the left foot between the hands. And if it doesn't get there on the first try, right knee lowers, left hand helps it forward, ankle underneath the knee. And then take your time, find your balance in this upright lunge position. Back toes tucked or untucked, whatever works for you. Find this length in the spine so the tailbone reaches down towards the earth and the top of the head reaches up towards the sky. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see me for this part. I call this one the taking the sweater off move. So we're leaning forward a little bit, arms crossed in front of the knee, and inhale, sweep out, opening up. And again, we exhale, come forward, cross the arms, inhale, opening up. Couple more here. And again, shoulder issues, your movements might be a little bit smaller or may not have as much elevation. And then your exhale, we'll bring both hands down around that front foot. And I'm going to put a block underneath my right hand. This is going to give me a little bit more space as I move. Left hand starting by that left foot. And here's another sort of elbow pull twist. So elbow towards the ceiling, look towards the left, and then lower the hand back down. Inhale, pull the elbow up. Exhale, lower 2 more. You can keep this with the back knee down or lift that back knee up. Next time you pull the elbow up, pause. You could stay here or reach this arm up. Neck long. Take another breath. Your exhale, hand comes down to the floor. Step this back into a plank. Lower both knees down, untuck your toes, and lower all the way down to the ground. Pull the shoulder blades towards the spine and the back waist to lift the head and chest for low cobra. You could stay there or press it higher, but keep the neck long. Tuck your toes, use your abdominal muscles. You might go through hands and knees or hips up and back, down dog. Take a few more movements, pedals of the feet, shake of the head. And looking forward, it'll be the right foot between the hands this time. Lowering that back knee. Lifting up, find your balance here in this upright lunge position. We want to find more space in the spine here as we move, and that'll kind of free up a little bit more movement everywhere. So tailbone towards the earth, top of the head towards the sky, taking that second sweater off. So we lean forward, cross the arms, inhale, lift up and open out. 3 more. And then the next time those hands come down, let them frame your front foot. Perhaps you put a block under that left hand. You might not need it. And we're moving the right arm. This is that elbow pull or sort of starting the lawnmower motion. Pull that right elbow towards the ceiling, looking towards the right, and then lower the hand back down. Breath is inhale, pull it up. Exhale, lower. You could keep the back knee down or lift it. Just a different variation. Might feel pull or stretch differently in the hip. Could pause in that twist. Option to stay elbow bent or reach up, neck long. Take another breath. Exhale, hand down. We're stepping the back foot to the front foot. Finding a variation of forward fold here working for you. The ragdoll version, knees bent, upper body draped over. Holding elbows here can feel like a nice release through the upper back, neck, shoulders. But if you are dealing with osteoporosis, low bone density, you're going to do this one feet wide, butt back, forearms on your thighs, so there's no compression going through the spine. Either of these variations, you could sway a little bit. You could kind of shake or gently turn the head. And then I'd like you all to join this variation of the feet out wide, like yoga mat distance apart, knees bent, butt back, forearms on your thighs. We're going to do another kind of upper back twist here. So I'm pressing one forearm into the thigh, that shoulder lowers, and I look away, turn my head away. Bring it back to the center, long through the spine, other forearm pushing into the knee, shoulder lowers, look away. Inhale, bring it through center, lengthen, exhale to twist. Inhale, center, lengthen, exhale to twist. Do that a few more times here. Back into center. Look forward, strong legs rise up. Take a couple of backward shoulder rolls here at the top. Move that blanket off your mat. We're going to continue some of that spinal movement and cat-cows with this variation from standing. So this position, you're going to have your feet more shoulder distance apart, and we're sitting back. So bending at the knees and the hips, bring the hands to the thighs. So lower body's going to stay here for this part as we cat and cow the spine. So for cat, we tuck the tailbone under, drop the chin, you're rounding through the back. And then for cow, tailbone tips back and we pull the chest forward. So breath, round the back, tuck the chin and tailbone. Inhale, tailbone back, chest forward. Do a couple more. So one option is to stay right here. So again, if you have herniated disc, low bone density, stay with this. Or a roll up would be to drop the tailbone, round through the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, the head comes up, and then we sit back. So bend the knees, tailbone back, and then we drop the tailbone and roll up the spine one vertebra at a time, head the last thing to come up. Inhale, sit back, tailbone out. Exhale, roll it up. One more. Coming on up to stand. Take a backward shoulder roll or two. Nice. And grab your strap here for the next one. We'll be moving through shoulder range of motion here with the strap. So if you've got any shoulder issues, you could keep it low. You don't have to reach up overhead. But we'll start from the front of the mat and take that big to medium step back with that right foot for warrior one. So for this lunge position, heels are lined up with the sitting bones, but the back foot, that right foot is turned out to about 2 o'clock-ish. Front knee bent, so it's over the ankle or somewhere behind or forward of it. Tailbone down towards the earth, leveling the pelvis there, top of the head up. And we're bringing our strap forward and holding on to it, hands about shoulder width apart. Pull that strap taut. You don't have to like rip it, but just keep some tension there. And then on the inhale, reaching up to a comfortable level. If your lats or shoulders are tight, sometimes the ribs want to flare and you get a big banana arch in your back. Keep the tailbone lengthening down. And then lower the arms, the strap. So you're keeping the tension in the strap. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, lower. And if you've got good flexibility in the shoulders, chest, your hands, your strap might be able to go behind your head without flaring the rib cage forward. All right, we'll leave the hands down, straighten the front knee. Take a couple of backward shoulder rolls from here. We'll do something similar. Rebending that front knee into the warrior one. Tailbone down, top of the head up. Strap is taut. We're going to reach it up overhead. I'm going to turn so you can see me here from the back. So we are keeping the tension on the strap, but relaxing the muscles between the neck and the shoulders. Top of the head reaching up. And we're lengthening through the right side. So we're reaching that right hand towards the ceiling. And then we bring it back level. So inhale, right arm lengthening up. Exhale, bring it to level. And then do two more here. And I feel this all the way from my right hip flexors, top of my quads, side ribs, through my lats even. Bring it back to center, lower the strap, step it forward, shake out your legs, roll the shoulders. And we're going to do this on the other side. So it'll be the left foot coming back this time. The warrior one position. Front knee bent, tailbone down, top of the head reaching up. Strap forward, hands about shoulder distance or maybe wider this time. You can see how it feels. Tension in the strap. We inhale, reach it up overhead. Keep the tailbone lengthening down. Exhale, lower. And you may only be lifting up 90 degrees or a little higher and lowering. Maybe you're okay with reaching up overhead, perhaps even slightly behind, and lower. Couple more here. Breathing fully. We'll straighten the front knee. Take a couple of backward shoulder rolls from here. And then we'll do that again, bending that front knee again, tailbone down, top of the head up, strap taut, but we reach it up overhead. We're gonna hold it here and then convince those muscles between the neck and shoulders to release. Sometimes it's hard, bringing the hands out a little wider, sometimes can be helpful for that purpose. And then we're lengthening up through the left side this time. So inhale, reach that left hand towards the ceiling, lengthen through the whole left side. Exhale, center. Do 3 more. Lower the arms, step it forward. You could put the strap down now unless you need it for your quad stretch, which is where we are going next. We are stretching the quads, and you can turn this into a balance exercise as well. But if you know your balance isn't so great, I would suggest coming over to the wall for this one, because we don't have an option like we do in some of the other balances to have the toe down for this. So the foot, if you're at the wall, foot closest to the wall, bring it forward, spread those toes, place them down, spread out. Shift your weight onto that foot. And then we're bringing the other foot behind. Find it with the hand. If it is hard for you to get this, or it's painful in the knee, or you cramp in the hamstring, this is a really great place for the strap under the ankle. And bringing it up behind you, maybe holding down closer to the foot. If the strap is long enough, you could bring it over the shoulder. And then again, tailbone down, top of the head up. Focus your gaze on a non-moving spot, because that visual feedback can be very helpful here. And think about not just tailbone down, but the kneecap towards the earth, because otherwise you can cheat knee out or knee forward, and you really don't get all 4 quadriceps stretching. If you have the hand on the wall, see if you can lighten up on it. Maybe just 1 or 2 fingers there, or the hand hovers. So you work on the balance for this. Breathe. We'll let that go. Shake it out. Turn around if you're at that wall. Bring the foot forward closest to the wall. Spread those toes. Weight shift on it. Bring the other foot behind, using the hand or the strap. Focusing the gaze on a non-moving spot. Tailbone down. Top of the head is reaching up. If you have that hand on the wall, can you lighten up? Maybe it's 1 or 2 fingers. Maybe the hand hovers just in case, giving you that confidence. Breathe. And we'll let that go. Shake it out. Shake both legs out. We're coming down to the floor to do a seated twist. I'm going to use my blanket to elevate my hips a little bit. And the purpose of this is so that my low back does not round. If you struggle with sitting on the floor, even with some elevation, like the low back tends to come into that rounded position, or if you have a herniated disc and your hamstrings are really tight, I would recommend doing a reclined twist. And that would look something like this, or some variation of this reclined twist. So we're doing something similar from a seated position. So we'll have one leg straight, the other bent, and bent leg, cross the foot to the outside of the other leg. And then the knee that's up, you're hugging it in with the opposite arm. The free hand's going to come behind you. Its job is to help you lengthen that spine. So we've been talking about that top of the head up. So now the hand, maybe up on tinted fingers, can give you that extra length. And you're just twisting chest, shoulders, gaze to that bent leg side, but you're not cranking yourself around. If you hug that knee in with the elbow, you might feel a little outer hip stretch here. So getting into your gluteus medius. Unwinding from here, both legs out front. You might just shake those legs out, or even use your hand sometimes just to kind of massage or jiggle the quadriceps. Those hip flexors here might feel welcome. And then the other side, but crossing over, hug that knee in with the opposite arm. Other hand behind you, sit tall. Gentle twist, hugging the knee in. Breathe. Unwind both legs out. Shake them out here or wiggle them with your hands. And we are coming onto our bellies. Coming into a Sphinx pose. So you are on your belly here on the forearms. So you're propped up on the forearms. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, so the upper arms are perpendicular to the floor. Forearms parallel to each other and palms flat. So that we're not just like sunk down and you have this kind of pivot point of extension in the lumbar spine. Lengthen the tailbone towards the feet. Your pubic bone's pressing into the floor and low belly pulls up a little bit. Press into the forearms and imagine your palms and your forearms are suction cupped to the floor, and you can pull back with the arms with the chest pulls forward. The neck is long. Take a few breaths right here. You could stay in this Sphinx, or if you're like, Laura hasn't given us any core strength and you want a little core strength here, you could do knees down or knees up, forearm plank. So you would, if it's knees down, you press into the knees, you exhale, lift the hips just a little, gaze towards the floor. Inhale, lower the hips, pull the chest forward for the Sphinx. Or knees up, you tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips, the thighs, just a little lift. Inhale, lower, chest forward. I'm going to do 2 or 3 more here of these Sphinx to plank. Keep pulling the chest forward when you lower down. Last one. Bring it to Sphinx, and then we'll lower the head and rest. Maybe arms come forward or cheek resting on the ground. You could just kind of wiggle the hips side to side here. And staying here on the belly, we're coming into a frog leg position, just so we're all on the same time. Bring that same side rather, bring that left knee out into the frog leg position. So knees bent, inner knees resting on the ground. Arms and head in whatever position feel the most comfortable. We'll be here for a minute or two, so it's worth getting comfortable. If you need to kind of scoot over to get that inner knee on the mat or slide a blanket underneath it. Sometimes foot in or out feels better, or knee lower, higher feels better. So make any adjustments you need to here. And then once you're in a good spot, meaning you don't feel any strain anywhere or no more than when you started, start to lengthen that breath out, slowing down your breathing. This position here is designed to release tension on the back of that hip of the frog leg side. We'll be here a little bit longer so that it might stay relaxed even as we come out of the position. It's a good opportunity to return to your intention for your practice, your reason for being here. So I am turning this into a reclined twist from here. So I'm keeping that knee bent in the frog leg, but I'm going to come over. You might have to lift up. I'm going to roll onto my right side. And that frog leg, my knee might come towards you a little bit, and that knee might not be on the floor. Support the head here either with the arm or slide a block underneath there or a pillow or a blanket. In this top arm, the left arm, we're pulling that elbow back and then bring it forward. So you lie on the side. Do that a couple more times. You pull that elbow back, look towards that left arm, and exhale, bring it forward. So I'm going to pause on this next one. If that elbow comes down to the floor, great, let it rest there. If it doesn't, you might slide a prop underneath to be able to rest into that position. Could keep the elbow straight, or you could stretch the arm out unless your wall is in the way, as mine is. Notice my left knee is no longer on the floor. It's kind of floating here, which feels okay to me, but that's another opportunity for a prop. You could always slide something under it there. Lengthen breath, letting go of any work that you're doing here. So if there's some effort involved, can you change it so you get to rest a little bit more here? We're going to roll back onto our bellies and do that frog leg on the other side. So right knee in the frog leg, arms, head, wherever it feels the most comfortable to you. Make any adjustments you need to here. Start to slow that breathing down again. So this position is more about releasing tension on the back of the leg than feeling stretch anywhere else. If you're feeling a lot of uncomfortable inner thigh stretch or hip positioning, pain, you can always roll away from it. You could come a little bit into that twist we are going to do in a moment. Be here for a little bit longer, allowing the muscles on the back of the hip to let go. Turning this into that twist. You might have to lift up a little bit to come onto your left side. The right knee stays bent. Support the head here either with that left arm or slide a block underneath it. The right arm, we pull that elbow back, look in that direction, and then bring it forward again. I'll do a couple more. So again, that upper back twist. That right knee might come away from the floor here as you twist. It's okay. All right, pausing here. So maybe the elbow makes it to the floor, maybe not. If not, I would suggest sliding a block or blanket or something or pillow underneath so you can rest into that position. If it feels good, you could straighten that arm out. Hopefully I'm staying in frame here. Scanning the body and see if there's anywhere that you're still holding on to some tension that you might be able to release some of, or use a prop so that you can rest into the pose a little bit more. We're going to roll onto your belly one more time. We're coming into the upper back relaxation position. I'm going to use my 2 yoga blocks because they're handy and they're the same size. If you don't have 2 yoga blocks, you're going to want 2 blankets or towels or 2 pillows that are about the same size. Blankets you're going to roll up into fat little rolls. Pillows fold over once or twice, and you're putting these props underneath the shoulders. So the job here of these props is to push the shoulder blades towards the spine. Now you could rest your head down, maybe cheek down. If you have that folded blanket, you could put it underneath your forehead here. So your neck is in neutral. The arms could come out to the sides here or down by your side. So whatever feels more natural or relaxed is the position you want to choose. I have a lot of movement in my shoulders and I have a lot of tension fatigue in my upper back today. I'm going to move my blocks up onto the taller side here, which might work for you, but it might not. So, try it maybe, or stay where you are. Go back to the position you started in. This is another relaxation pose or restorative pose to release tension in sets of muscles here. There are about 3 layers of muscle that run between the shoulder blades and the spine. And they essentially all pull the shoulder blades towards each other. That's the action when the muscles contract. That's what they do. They pull at different angles, so some of them pull straight towards the spine, some pull towards the spine and down, or towards the spine and up. In this position, all those muscles are slackened, so they cannot contract. They mechanically cannot engage and contract. So this is like the off switch to those muscles. In forward head position, these muscles stay in the stretch. Forward shoulder position, the muscles stay in the stretch. And they often can get achy and tight just from being in stretch for prolonged periods. Rowing, you're definitely using these muscles pretty forcefully, repeatedly. So this is the resting position for the upper back. Take a few more breaths. When you're ready, moving those props out from underneath you here, rolling onto your back. The frog leg position, release tension in the back of the hips. Let's give them a gentle stretch, thigh over thigh. Pull the legs in towards you, holding shins, backs of thighs, or using a strap to hold the backs of thighs. Alternative to this is the ankle over knee stretch. Relax the shoulders, the neck, the jaw muscles. Switch legs. Unwinding. And decide if there's something you'd like to do before Shavasana. It might be a happy baby. It might be a different hip stretch, a bridge or a wheel, or maybe an inversion. Take a few moments here really to assess what you're feeling in your body and perhaps decide if there's something missing from the practice or that your body is requesting more of, an opening, a releasing, a stretching, an engaging. And then thinking about setting up for your Shavasana. So we've done a couple of poses to release through that upper back, that mid back, the one we just came out of, belly down, props into the shoulders. That might be your position for Shavasana. That first position we were in with the blanket roll or the foam roller under the spine is basically the same position that the belly down one is, but turned over. And instead of the props pushing the shoulders back, it's gravity pushing the shoulders back. So similar effects here. The face up one gives you an option to kind of open that chest a little bit more and maybe breathe easier here. I don't know. But there's other ways, other positions, obviously, to Shavasana. Legs up, legs on the chair. You don't have to have any props. But wherever you've chosen to be, get comfortable. So sometimes it takes a little bit of adjustment. This might be a time where you put on a sweater or socks or grab a blanket off the couch to throw over you so that you can feel a little bit more cozy, warm, which might allow you to relax a little bit more. And to use the breath to help you kind of settle in. You could take an inhale through the nose, open the mouth, and let out a sigh. And again. Let the breath go. Allow the body to rest, allowing your bones to feel heavy, weighted to the floor. Giving yourself permission to rest for the next several minutes. You could certainly stay here longer, resting more. If you're ready to move on, begin by deepening your breath. Add some gentle movements at the fingers, the toes, wrists, the ankles. If it feels good in your body, reach your legs out, arms overhead, and inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let it go. Bend the knees here and roll to the side. Pause for a moment here on your side. Take an opportunity to appreciate your body, your breath, your health, your yoga practice. Pressing up to a seated position. Thank you for being here, sharing your practice and your energy. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you.